the fact that we've got a lot of people out there who seem to be, I don't know, too scared to go in the stores when they finally do open. So I think there's going to be a little more lessening of the taxes collected than you'd think. And that's just my opinion. And I don't know if this is a question for now or later, but I'm going to ask it now, and you can either address it now or address it later. But the impact fees, we know we have to match with. We know we have to match it out of the general fund, and there needs to be an analysis, I think, or maybe you're doing it, of how much is going to be necessary to match the money that we're taking in from the impact fees. Because I don't want to see a situation where we leave one nickel of impact fees on the table. And quite frankly, I understand the need for no property tax collected. However, I don't want to also see us having to match impact fees with money that would normally go to like community programs or other things or maintenance. So if, I would like to know what our requirements are going to be, and then take a look at maybe having to raise the property tax, a tiny bit, maybe 0.5% or a quarter. I just want to know how that all matches up. And like I said, if you want to discuss that now or later, that's fine, as long as at some point we do discuss that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Baker. Christine, did you want to add anything to Commissioner Baker?
Madam President.
Or Director Wong?
Yeah, Madam President, Commissioner Baker. Yes, you are on target on all those comments. This morning, the President's team indicated that they were going to be slightly concerned with third quarter operations with a slight impact on fourth quarter. And then the projection out of the President's team was a huge uptick in the first of the next year. Again, that's to be said. The governor's team is working through this now. They're also they're looking at the third and fourth quarters. And as you know, the governor has already required holdbacks on funding at the state level. That will, of course, impact us. In reference to your question about how we're going to assess this, yes, that's part of the budget process that we will be going through, and we'll be assuring that the commission is well briefed on that.
Thank you, Director Wong. I do agree with you and Commissioner Baker. We are certainly in these times are going to have to avail ourselves of any and all streams for revenue. So thank you both for your comments. Anyone else? Okay, thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam President and Commissioners. This is Christy Inselman, Senior Transportation Planner.
Welcome, Christy.
Hello. So this graph here represents the revenue assumptions forecasted for the Integrated 5-Year Work Plan over the next 5 years. This is based on the assumption ACHD will not take the 3% plus new construction in 2021. The orange represents a portion of the forecasted revenue that would require future approval by the Commission to continue to meet Commission-directed targets and programming obligations. So staff continues to program the Integrated 5-Year Work Plan based on that Commission-directed allocation methodology. Our programming obligations, primary and secondary focuses. Keeping with that methodology, this slide shows the anticipated changes that will occur within the Integrated 5-Year Work Plan. These include delays to the State and Pierce Park project that was approved by the Commission in April. We would look to accelerate the Gowan Road Bridge number 2110 over the railroad tracks, which is the first of the big bridges, into 2021. And then as a reminder, because the impact fee loan balance has been repaid, it will require, as Commissioner Arnold stated, will require robust programming of impact fee eligible projects. Staff will explore opportunities to address pedestrian connection projects, looking to the partner agency prioritization list and adopted neighborhood plans. As Christine talked about earlier, the financial impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic are still unknown at this time. So this slide shows you the next steps in the process. We have quite a few things coming up. The next one on May 27th, I'll be coming back to you with a work session on the community program priorities. June 10th, early issues review work session. July 8th, operational revenue budget review. July 15th, 5-year work plan draft work session. The 16th, we'll go over the public comments we've received during the comment period and budget, and then we'll hold our possibly open house on the 5-year work plan. The 5th, revised budget packet, 21st. The end goal is August 26th, the budget adoption hearing for the budget adoption hearing, and the 23rd is the 5-year work plan adoption hearing. We're currently on target. There we go. Sorry. I think this mask makes it harder for me to think. We are on target to still meet those goals. And then I'll stand for any questions you have.
Thank you, Christy. Commissioners, any questions for Christy?
I've got one.
Commissioner Goldthorpe?
It's more of a comment. When we get around to discussing the community programs prioritization and what we want to do with it, I would appreciate, and if it meets with anyone's approval besides my own, that some of the projects that we were not able to do last year because they would have shot us over the $3 million mark by I don't know how much, because we didn't get into that much of a discussion on it, that those actually be reconsidered again this year because they were important enough to be on the list last year. We just couldn't do them. So please consider those again. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Goldthorpe. Anyone else? Thank you, Christy. Obviously, this approach has been necessitated by the pandemic, like I stated earlier, that we find ourselves in. But I do think going forward, starting with a flat budget like this could be a prudent exercise for the Commission going forward. I like to see exactly where we're starting, where our pitfalls are, where the needs are, as we set our priorities going forward. So this might be something that we just kind of want to use as an exercise as we build our budgets going forward. So, but thank you all very much for the work that you put into this. All right, with that, then let's see, we got a couple of minutes before we start our pre-commission.
Yes, you have 2 minutes, Commissioner May.
Thank you, Director Wong.
Commissioner May, it's now 11:45.
Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and call our pre-commission session to order, and we will start with any general housekeeping items. Does anyone have anything that they would like to address or bring up before we?
Yeah, I have something, Commissioner May.
Commissioner Hanson?
Yeah, I just have a question on the item on the consent agenda. Is this the right time to raise?
Well, as soon as we make sure no one has any sort of just general housekeeping item, we will just move right into the agenda. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Any comments? Okay. Hearing none. Now, Commissioner Hanson.
All right.
Discussion of our commission meeting agenda.
I wonder if Dawn is on the call. Is she listening in? Is Dawn the project director for, what is this? Oh, Tanner Creek. Dawn there.
Commissioner, we have Gary Insman on the phone, on the line.
Okay, I'm looking at, this is all good. The problem lies in, on page 13 under traffic calming. What we're doing is saying that the traffic calming won't be assessed until after the road, the connecting road, is built out. And then there's a speed study. And then there'll be a little bit of money put in to retrofit traffic calming if necessary, which seems to me backwards that the design of the road should be, since we already know, engineers know what kind of conditions will encourage speeding, and this will be a cut-through street. That's a big concern for that neighborhood. So why not make Ruddy Drive designed with features that would ensure traffic drives at the speed limit rather than wait until afterwards.
You are unmuted.
And wait for warrants and so forth. Warrants have to do with speeds rather than volume. It's just, that one thing just stuck with me. Why wait now? Because the problem we have all over the county is that we're now retrofitting roads that should have been designed for the speed limits that they were set at. And there's I remember a big concern by the neighbors of cut-through traffic that would be dashing through there. So,
Thank you. Mr. Inselman.
President May, Commissioner Hanson, the anticipated measures are going to be looked at inside the subdivision to the west. Ruddy Drive within the Tanner Creek development, it's one lot deep and then makes a 90-degree turn. There's not a lot we can do within the development to control the cut-through traffic through the existing neighborhoods. What we want to do is be able to evaluate which roads people are using in that existing neighborhood and address those specific items instead of trying to guess at this time.
So my question is, why base it on warrants rather than on speeds? Because it kind of contradicts itself. The warrants have to do with volumes, isn't it?
Well, perhaps that's evaluate which roads people are using. The wrong term to use there, but we will evaluate the amount of cut-through traffic, speeds, and look at the appropriate measures for the streets that are impacted.
And then the $18,000, if there needs to be a couple of curb extensions that need to be built, how many can we do with $18,000? I don't think we can even do one.
Commissioner Hanson, we could do a couple of curb extensions. We could do several speed humps. There's multiple measures that could be taken. We'd have to look at the specific needs and where on those existing streets and what the appropriate measure would be.
Right. No, I realize that, but it seems to me the concrete costs alone can we do multiple curb extensions with $18,000?
It would depend on which corners and what the existing conditions are. If we have to move inlets or anything, then that gets a lot more expensive. That's why it depends on which streets are impacted and what those existing conditions are.
And we don't have a clue as to what can't estimate or project the likely routes people are going to take and where the curb extensions ought to be built.
We can project. Curb extension on its own isn't going to do a whole lot to control speeds or cut through traffic. We'd have to look at a combination of measures. That's why we want to make sure we're evaluating the impacts as they're happening, so we hit the appropriate places.
Right. No, I realize, but curb extensions are the most expensive of those, as opposed to like speed bumps and stop signs. So that's why the number just seemed to me awfully low if we want it to be really effective, and that is the big concern from that neighborhood.
Yep.
Okay, those are my questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Hanson and Mr. Inselman. Any other
Yes,
comments
Madam
about the
President.
agenda? Commissioner Goldthorpe?
Well, this has to do with similar comments to what Jim was making. I actually have some acquaintances that live over to the west of this development, proposed development, and they're kind of excited at the opportunity of getting over to the east a lot quicker. So I'm thinking that maybe the issue of cut through from east to west is not going to be a small one. That's it.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, hearing none, we will turn to Director Wong.
Hey, good morning, Commissioners. Speaking to you again from the ACHD World Headquarters here in beautiful downtown Garden City. A couple things, if I could share with you first. All actions that we've taken regarding the COVID-19 criteria, I'm very confident that we can safely begin ACHD soft openings on Friday as planned, and that is our intention. All items that have been recommended and required will be in place to best ensure our team members' safety as we begin a cautious journey back to normal operations. As I want to emphasize, as a reminder, all accommodations and support for our team members and you and your families will continue to be at center stage as we begin the soft opening on Friday. This includes the absence of daycare opportunities, which we must consider, schools being out, which we must consider, any family health concerns and any personal concerns that each of our team members and or you may have, which will always be at center stage. But bottom line, I'm confident we're prepared to move forward, and that's our intention at this point in time, in line with the governor's phasing and, of course, all CDC and central health recommendations and requirements. As you all know, I did brief the STAR Council last night. It seemed to go well and such, a lot of good questions, and I have one or two follow-up tasks by the mayor that I'll accomplish today. I sent you yesterday my thoughts and analysis on the FY20 personnel budget, and of course the immediate requests in 20. We will be prepared to have that fee presentation to you shortly and such, but at the end of the day, as hopefully I outlined to you all, we are able to pay for all personnel additions, the very few that we're going to be asking for, without touching the operational budget, strictly through the fees that we currently have in place and the ones that the slight modifications we are recommending to include one ordinance change which removes a 1990 standing no fee requirement for long-term encroachment. We were very, conservative in our estimates of what those dollars would bring into the commission. So I hope you had a time to review that. I would be willing to stand. I am willing to stand for any questions you may have, but I would like to have your head nod on the three authorizations that I requested for the immediate authorizations in 2020, as outlined by the report that I gave you. Again, that is all absorbed currently under the fee structure we have right now, plus a couple dollars left over. So there is no impact to the taxpayer. There is no additional move from any program at all here at the Ada County Highway District. And so, as outlined, I'd like to get your thoughts, please.
Thank you, Director Wong. Commissioners, does anyone have a comment or question for Director Wong?
Madam President?
Commissioner Baker?
Yeah, I don't have any problems with the first three or the three for the rest of this year. I think we need to talk a little bit about the following year for maybe 2022?
2021.
2021. Yeah, I'm pretty good with all of those too, but I do think we need to have a discussion about those. But for the first three, yeah, go ahead. I think it's fine.
Commissioner May, Commissioner Baker, thank you. Again, for all the follow-ons, that will be detailed again in the budget process as we go through there. So absolutely no surprises whatsoever. We'll have all the specifics for you. But I do appreciate your support on that critical three that we need in 20.
Absolutely, and I appreciate the drill down that you did to identify the critical need going forward for these positions. So thank you very much on that. Does anyone else have another comment? Commissioner Baker, did you?
No, I'm fine.
No? Okay.
No, those three positions are fine.
Okay. Commissioner Goldthorpe?
Yeah, I agree. Those three positions are fine. I think we need to have a lot of discussion, though, about future add-ons and everything associated with the lack of chip sealing this year and expenses and additional employees, raises, and the whole 9 yards. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Arnold, did you have a comment?
Yes, I would concur with adding those three positions for now, but I also agree with Commissioner Goldthorpe that we do need to take a hard look at some of those items.
Okay, thank you very much. And as stated by Director Wong, we will be doing that as we move forward in this process. So I too stand in agreement with the proposal. So thank you very much, Director Wong.
Okay, Commissioners, that's all I have for you right now, unless you have any questions for me.
Don't see any. Thank you very much. It looks
Okay.
like we have a couple minutes.
You have 3 minutes.
Thank you.
I noticed you weren't wearing yours. That's okay. I'm going to wear mine anyway. I'm trying to get used to it.
Commissioner May, it's now 12 o'clock.
Thank you, Director Wong. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'd like to call our commission meeting to order. Director Wong, if you would please be so kind as to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
You can all join me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic, which is one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Thank you very much. I'd like to start out today by recognizing 3 outstanding ACHD team members that we have with us at the district. They have all gone that extra mile during this very uncharted and difficult time for the president with this pandemic. I would like to thank both Allie Linger in communications and Heather Tillett with maintenance for keeping all of the tele and phone calls current during these challenging times. Both of them have been working from home and have managed to answer, route, and close over 430 calls that have come into the district. So that is quite a feat. Their dedication to our their dedication, getting those calls routed to the right people, I think, really was outstanding. And their dedication to our mission ensured we have been able to accurately and timely answer all customer concerns during this shutdown. So, Allie and Heather, thank you very much. And also, I would like to recognize Rachel Chipman. Rachel is our ADA coordinator, and she has stepped up to the plate and finished her intensive ADA coordinator training in less than a year. And that is really another amazing feat. So this just underscores her wavering dedication to the ADA mission and to ACHD. So if everyone would please join me in a nod of, or a round of virtual applause for Allie, Heather, and Rachel. Thank you, ladies, very much. All right, our first order of business is to adopt the consent agenda. Items on the
Sorry.
Pardon me?
First item
Adopt
is
our
to adopt
agenda.
the
Sorry. Yeah, adopt our entire agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All
Aye.
right, now to the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless a commissioner or citizen so requests, in which case the item will be moved from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda. All consent agenda items are commission action items unless noted. Do we have a motion to approve our consent agenda?
Madam President, I move we adopt the consent agenda.
Thank you,
Second
Commissioner
that.
Baker. Okay, we have a motion and a second by Commissioner Goldthorpe. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We have no regular agenda items to address this week, so that will take us right into our public communications portion of our meeting. Is there anyone that would like to address the commission? Okay. Seeing none, we stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Please stay healthy, stay well, and take care, and we will see you next week.
I just sent you an email.
Goodbye.